Hello? I'm Preston Foster, coming your way with another episode of Waterfront. Come on, honey, the game's all set up.
Coming. You know, there's going to be an auction at Ramsdale's tomorrow.
Well, that's wonderful.
They're auctioning off Old Man Smith's things.
I'd like to go with you, honey, but I got a big job in San Diego tomorrow.
John, you're off tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, I got to go out to the Lighthouse and bring Johnathon Beale back to town.
Oh, so he's off too.
Yeah, I went to an auction once with you and Johnathon, remember?
You know how Jonathan is about auctions. I think I'll just ask him if he won't take me tomorrow.
Do you remember what happened the last time you and Johnathon went to Ramsdale's?
Mm-hmm.
I'll go. We'll all go. I'll be the treasurer.
Okay, your move, dear. Oh, John, aren't these wonderful old bronzes?
Yeah, wonderful.
Wonder how high the bidding will go with this. Oh, boy, she's beautiful.
Oh, the horse. Yeah, beautiful.
I could use her as a model with my painting.
John, they're just millions of things.
Do you like any of them?
Well,
Do you need any of them?
what's that got to do with it?
That figures.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have assembled here the most unique, the most beautiful, the most valuable, the most... Well, somebody might like some of it. Let's get started. Mr. Mack, would you please bring up the first group of items?
Yes, Mr. Ramsdale. Excuse me, please.
Going. Going. Gone.
Thank you. Look, isn't this cute?
You signed, Miss Herrick?
For certain.
Would you mind telling me why you bought that thing?
Well, I've always wanted it.
You?
Well, it'll be useful to have around the house.
How?
Well, I'll make a lamp base out of it.
Or a planter?
Oh, John.
Sure, the little man could have a handful of trailing ivy.
And what have I bid for this magnificent specimen? This equine masterpiece?
I thought he was going to auction the horse off next.
That's what he's talking about.
50 cents.
50 cents? 50 cents for this beautiful work of art? Why, I imagine in perfecting this masterpiece, the artist probably spent years. Do I hear any other bids than 50 cents? Going. Going. Gone.
There's your 50 cents. I'm going back to the Lighthouse, John. I want to start painting.
We'll all go.
No, you stay here. I can snag a ride.
Oh, darling, let's wait till it's over, huh?
And now we come to this genuine sideboard, made of the finest woods. It may look a little old-fashioned, but it was constructed entirely by hand with loving craftsmanship. In those days, furniture was made to last. Precision work. It was... It must be the weather. Anyway, it's big.
That's just what you need for your living room.
Well, here we go, folks, with this magnificent memento of a bygone era. Who'll start the bidding with $25?
Make a bid of $5 and raise your hand, you got it.
Sold.
See? Somebody got hooked.
Captain Herrick, if you'll sign here, please.
Me?
It's a real beauty, isn't it? Mr. Ramsdale will be very happy he found such a good home for it.
For what?
Why, for that lovely Victorian sideboard you just bought.
Well, you're off on the wrong foot. I was just having a little joke with my
I'm
wife.
afraid Mr. Ramsdale doesn't like jokers at his auctions.
That's too bad. You tell him to put it up again and let somebody else have it. Come on, honey, let's get out of here.
Would you answer that, please, dear?
Oh. Hey, wait a minute. What's going on
Where
here?
do you want it, Captain?
I don't want it.
Well, you bought it.
Who bought it?
Take it easy. You want to scratch it?
Wouldn't it be a shame?
Now, where would you like to have us set it up, Captain Herrick?
Take that monstrosity out of here and tell that slicker Ramsdale he can talk till he's blue in the face and I won't... Now listen, Ramsdale.
Now, what were you saying?
I was saying that I'm not going to
You were in my shop this morning, weren't you?
I was in your shop, but that's got nothing...
And you did raise your hand, didn't you?
When I raised my hand, it had nothing...
You bought this fine old Victorian piece.
I did not buy it.
And now, where do you want it?
I want it back in your shop. Now, wait a minute. You can't leave that thing sitting here in the middle of my house.
But we did. Good day.
Very funny.
Well, Mr. Ramsdale was absolutely right. It's big.
I didn't buy this thing. I'll take it back to that Ramsdale and drop it on his head.
Yes, dear.
Good morning. Sure solid. Not bad looking wood at that. Pretty good workmanship.
Stuck, dear?
We sure are. Well, it doesn't look as bad as it looks. The only trouble is it's too far away from the wall. All we got to do is move the wall in.
Oh, darling, you figure it out. I'm going to bed.
Looking around your lighthouse. It was so nice of you to let me come. And I'm so fortunate having the captain of the lighthouse himself be my guide.
Well, I ain't exactly a captain, ma'am. You see, lighthouses don't have captains.
You're just being modest. Oh, say, now that's pretty good.
Ain't finished yet. See, I leave the head until the last. It's more fun.
You mean you're the painter? And you paint right here?
Next to the kitchen. All the artists I ever read about used to work in the attic, and the result was they mostly starved to death. I figured on taking no chances.
This, where did you get it?
I picked it up at an auction yesterday. What's the matter, ma'am?
It was poor dear Mr. Smith's.
Poor dead Mr. Smith.
I used to be a secretary years ago. I was very fond of him. When I read in our hometown paper about his death, I rushed here, but I was too late for the funeral.
That was too bad.
I was even too late for the auction. And all I wanted was this, although it isn't worth anything. Mr. Smith once promised me that when he died, I could have it as a remembrance. It used to have a sort of a base.
No, ma'am, there was no base.
Well, let me pay you for it. Say, $10?
That's a bit more than I paid.
Oh, let's not talk about money.
Well, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you can't have it.
Oh?
That is not until I finish my painting.
Oh.
Well, it's going to take most of the day, but if it means so much to you, ma'am...
Oh, it does.
Well, then you can have it, say, tomorrow morning.
Oh, you are a darling. Till tomorrow, Captain.
But I ain't a captain.
You are going to take that sideboard back.
I am not going to take that sideboard back.
Have you ever had your eyebrows separated?
That won't get the sideboard out of your living room.
But it would make me feel a lot better.
Excuse me, please. I was wondering if I could speak to the proprietor.
I'm the proprietor.
I understand you auctioned off some things yesterday that had belonged to a Mr. Smith.
That's right.
I was wondering if maybe you still had a little gilded horse. It was about this high.
I know the horse you mean.
Do you have it?
What's so special about that horse?
Oh, well, it's nothing that would mean anything to anybody but myself. It's a sentimental thing.
Oh, you're the second woman who's been asking for it.
You didn't give it to her.
I didn't give it to anyone. I auctioned it off to Johnathon Beale for 50 cents.
And who might this Johnathon Beale be, if I might ask?
He's the lighthouse keeper out in the harbor.
Oh, is there any way that I could get to him right away?
Well, I'm Captain Herrick, and I run a tugboat. I'm passing there this afternoon, and I could be dropping you off.
Oh, I'd be that grateful to you. Did you say your name was O'Herrick?
Well, there was a time. Now, you see, in County Cork, where my great-great-grandfather, Timothy Michael... It's for you, me bucko. You'll be taking back that sideboard. It'll be seeing the back of me hand. Let's go, lass. Would it help any to talk about it?
Talk about what?
Mr. Smith. I noticed the way you spoke about him in the antique shop. Your father? Your name isn't Smith.
No, and neither was his. My father's name was James Laughlin. Here's a picture of us together. Until he came out here, he was an art dealer. He was an honest man, but a poor one. All his life he handled beautiful things, things he loved. But he never could own a one of them. And then, one day, it was about 10 years ago, he just ran away and hid. It had become too much for him.
Did he take something with him?
Oh, no one knows that for certain, no. But there was a statuette of a horse belonging to an Italian museum. And, well, it disappeared about the time my father did. So...
We'll be at the lighthouse in a few minutes, and then we'll know. Hi, Jonathan.
Hi, Captain John.
Sure you get all the soap off?
Don't use soap, just sheer strength.
I want you to meet Miss Laughlin. This is Johnathon Beale.
Glad to meet you, miss.
How do you do, Mr. Beale? I was wondering if maybe you still had the little horse you bought yesterday.
Horse? Oh, yes, right over there on the table, underneath that junk.
Captain Herrick? It's the Michelangelo.
You sure?
That I am.
This is what disappeared when your father...
That horse, Michelangelo, and it ought to be in a museum.
And that's where it's going to be, for I'm going to send it back to the Rome Museum in my father's name.
Well, I kind of promised to sell it to a lady in the morning.
This lady. Now, what was she like?
Oh, a good bit older than you. Real attractive when she was smiling. But when she wasn't smiling, more like that ocean out there when the sun's gone. Colder and grayer.
That'd be Lorraine, my father's secretary. For she knew about the Michelangelo. But Captain Herrick, she only wanted to sell it.
Do you have proof that you're Peggy Laughlin?
Well, of course I have. Would you hold it? Here's my driver's license and my hospital plan card.
This other woman, did she say anything about it being a Michelangelo?
No. In fact, she said it wasn't worth anything.
Sounds like she's lying. Since Peggy's Mr. Laughlin's daughter.
Then she ought to have the horse. Lucky for you in that museum you're sending it to that I finished my painting.
Oh, Mr. Beale.
No, I got a date to pick up a banana boat. Jonathan will get you a ride back to the mainland. By the way, if you don't mind a late supper, Mrs. Herrick and I would like you to come tonight.
Boy, you'd be that grateful.
Where are you stopping?
At the Ozone Hotel.
Fine, I'll pick you up. How about you, Jonathan?
I'd like to, John, but I'm on duty tonight.
All right, we'll catch you next time.
Oh, there you are, little darling. Hello. Could you send a bellboy right away, please? And would you ask him to bring some wrap-in paper and some very strong cord? Thank you very much.
Lorraine. Oh, I'm so glad I found you, Peggy. So very glad. Well, no word of welcome for me? The Michelangelo. Little golden darling, worth so very many, many dollars. Where's the base? You always were a sullen brat. Where's the base?
I don't know where it is.
The man at the Lighthouse that gave this to you. He didn't have the base either. At least I found out that much from him.
Then you might as well put the statuette back, for you cannot sell it for top money without the base.
Neither can you.
I don't intend to. I suppose you find that hard to understand.
I find it hard to believe. What do you intend to do with the horse? Hide it away the way your father did?
I am sending it back to the Rome Museum.
You're an even bigger fool than your father was. I'm afraid the Rome Museum will have to get along without its little golden horse.
But you cannot prove it is authentic without the base.
Don't worry about the base. I think I know where it is. Now get in the closet.
Lorraine, please. I want my father's name to be free of any taint.
You always hated me, and your father was kind.
Please, Lorraine.
I don't know which one of you revolted me more. Get in there.
You'll be sorry. No! Help! Help, let me out of here. Lorraine, please!
Mrs. Herrick?
Oh, yes?
I was just talking to Mr. Ramsdale over at the antique shop, and he told me that you bought a sideboard yesterday, a part of the Smith estate.
Well, let's say my husband bought it. It's right in there.
Oh, my, it is handsome, isn't it?
Well, it's big.
I don't suppose you'd want to part with it, would you?
It's possible that we might.
I saw it years ago at Mr. Smith's. I tried to buy it then, but he was sort of attached to it. And I was hoping maybe you wouldn't be. After all, you've had it such a short time. And I'll pay you well for it.
Well, how much did you have in mind?
$100?
Well, that sounds like a fair price. Why don't we talk about it over a cup of tea? The water's hot.
Well, that's very kind of you.
I'll just be a minute. Please sit down, won't you? You forgot to mention your name. Just what are you after? $100 is a lot of money for that sideboard.
The offer still stands.
And I don't accept it. I think you'd better go now.
I think not. Sit down. Sit down.
Somebody coming out! Help! Help! Get me out of here!
Oh, Captain Harry.
Who locked you in there?
It was Lorraine. She took the horse, but she cannot sell it for much without the base.
I didn't see any base.
Oh, it must have become separated from the horse. It was sort of a flat pedestal. Lorraine says she thinks she knows how to find it.
I better make a call. Operator, get me front. 78354.
Who are you calling?
Ramsdale. That's a logical place for her to go for information. Hello, Ramsdale. This is John Herrick. Did a woman come by there looking for information about some furniture you just sold? She did, huh? Thanks. Thanks a lot. She called to find out who bought the sideboard.
The sideboard.
Operator, get me the police.
Got to be here some places where he always hid things.
I'll take it if you don't mind.
Go! Let me go!
All right, now just take it easy.
It's safe.
But what about the base?
Well, that's why she came here. And she couldn't find it. She couldn't get the upper right-hand drawer open.
Well, I'll take care of that. You just stay over there and stay put. It's a tight fit.
Darling, let me try something.
Hmm?
Grandma used to have a piece like this.
What is it?
I don't know. Let's see.
John, what are you doing?
But you cannot give her the horse. It belongs to the museum.
Belongs to her. All right, you got what you wanted. Now suppose you get out of here.
Well, thanks.
But she has no right to the Michelangelo.
John, if you have an explanation, it better be a good one.
This is a note from James Laughlin. He left that horse to the Adams woman.
But it was not his to leave.
That one was. According to this note, it was a duplicate your father had made for the benefit of any crook who might come along. The Adams woman qualified.
Oh, but you shouldn't have let her go, John.
She won't get very far. The police are waiting for her.
Then where's the original Michelangelo? Oh,
Come in. Hi, Mike.
We got her, Captain John.
Good.
She was sure playing the horses the hard way.
Yeah.
This hers?
Yeah.
I'll get it back to her. See you later.
All right. So long.
Say, she's a beauty.
The man that made that was a real artist. A lot of fine detail in that piece.
Old Victorian, isn't it?
Oh, that? Oh, you bet your life. That's the finest of craftsmanship.
Sure is. My wife would love that.
Yeah?
Would you be willing to part with this?
Well,
John, I want to talk to you a minute.
just a minute, honey, and I want to tell you it's the finest
John,
wood in that, too, Mike. It's a...
Seems like it, but I don't know.
John, I want to talk to you.
Honey, wait a minute. Will you take it easy? And look at the workmanship. Look at the workmanship in that thing, Mike.
Yes, but expensive.
Oh, I wouldn't say so. How's about $25?
John, please.
Honey, will you...
$25, I'll take it.
Please, honey, wait a minute. We've got a
No,
deal,
you
boys.
won't.
Just
I
put it right
want
on
it.
the
We
bounce.
need it,
Look,
John.
honey,
Listen
we
to
need
me.
this like
I
we did.
need
Look,
this,
John, I
John.
don't want to interview. Honey,
John,
hon.
I want it.
Now, wait a minute, will you?
Please, let me...
$25. Well, we hope you enjoyed tonight's story and that you'll be with us next week for another episode of Waterfront.